Welcome, everyone. Welcome to class. We want a special and kind of an extended class today with Max Monday Eevee. That's really going to be starting the weekend before, starting November 21st, and Max Monday will be November 24th. Get ready. This is going to be a lot of class notes, but let's class begin. All right, for the November Max Monday schedule, Eevee is officially going to be on November 24th. We're going to have this normal Max Monday. Right now, depending on when the video is out, it's either going to be Ralts or Toxtricity. But we're going to talk about Eevee. But beforehand, let's start with talking about the Dynamax Eevee Battle Weekend. So it's really going to start Friday, November 21st at 6 a.m. to Monday, November 24th, 9 p.m. your local time. The Max Monday is going to be between 6 and 7 p.m. on the 24th, your local time. And with that, we will have an ample amount of opportunities to be able to farm Eevee through Dynamax. Fortunately, Eevee is going to be a 2-star battle, but we will be getting some event bonuses. We will get a half adventuring distance to receive max particles. Power spots will refresh more frequently. We will go 2 times the max particles from power spots as well. So we will be able to kind of max out fairly quickly throughout the entire weekend. And with this, we must first collect all the particles available in the nearby menu for the bonus to be able to apply. On top of it, we will have collection challenges. It looks like that it's going to be a themed collection challenge, and we're going to have focus collection challenges on evolution based and catch based, and we'll get Eevee candy, max particles, and a Poffin. There will be a Dynamax Eevee Battle Boost box. This is one of the boxes I truly don't suggest for, unless if you need max mushrooms. For $9.99, you only get 7 max particle packs and a max mushroom to prepare you for the encounters with the Dynamax Eevee. Generally, I think this is too expensive, unless if you need max mushrooms. And even then, there's usually better things you can get instead of that. All right, let's start with Dynamax Eevee. This is what we're going to be fighting for 400 max points as a 2-star. It is weak to fighting and strong to ghost. Overall, its CP is 1210, which probably is the reason why they put it as a 2-star. It is a little frustrating. I kind of wish that they brought this down a little bit, but I do expect them to raise the limit. We haven't gotten word yet, but I expect them to raise the limit at least throughout the weekend to help us farm Eevee. So this is going to be one of those times where we're going to just focus on farming Eevee for the entire weekend. Its stats are relatively low, though, so it's not going to be that hard of a battle. 104 attack, 114 defense, and 146 HP. The CP is going to be between 565 and 612, with 612 being your hundo, which is the goal. Dynamax Eevee. Eevee itself actually has 2 fast moves, with Tackle being a quick, fast move that is useful, but we're not going to be using Eevee. Its stats are just too low. Fighting Eevee, we have to worry about 3 normals and Dig. Dig probably being the strongest attack, but overall, because it does not have the same type of ability bonus, it won't do nearly as much damage as Last Resort, and Dig is very slow. With that, Last Resort will be the strongest attack. So anything that's strong against normal, or at least has high defense, is going to be okay. There's not a lot of tanks that are strong against normal. So we're really going to be trying to use just 2 strong tanks and a Machamp or Gmax Machamp, sorry, to basically go there, or wherever your strongest fighting one is, as that's going to be the quickest way to get through. Overall, it's a 2-2-2. I have to put Eevee out, as we do expect a Gmax out there. The Gmax isn't going to be useful. We don't expect the Gmax to have any of the Eeveelutions. So they're going to have to do something. Otherwise, Eevee's Gmax is just going to be there for cuteness, which it is incredibly strong on. For normal Eevee, we've really only got 4 choices for Mega Units that we're going to go throughout the entire weekend with. Pidgeot, Kangaskhan, Lopunny, and Audino. Pyroar and Drampa are coming out at some point, but they're not available right now in Pokemon Go. So for 1 mega to 6 times you've mega, you can get 1 bonus catch candy. We have already done, we should have a decent amount of candy already for Eevee. So the 1 bonus candy isn't that big, but going to level 2 for 7 times to 29 times, you get the bonus candy 10% chance of XL drop, all 3 drops, and 50 EXP, and the last one is 3 with 30 times mega or more. You get 2 bonus candy, 25% chance of drops for the 3 drops for the XLs, and 100 XP. And we're going to need the XLs in order to get the Eevees that we're looking for. All right, we're going to go through the Eeveelutions. These are going to take a little bit of time as we have a decent amount of them. But first, we're going to do the random Eeveelutions, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. They're 33% each. They are random. Going to be honest, they're not super useful right now. Let's go with Vaporeon. It is the water type. Obviously, it's 25 candy and a random evolution. It is electric and grass at 60% to extra damage and is strong to fire, ice, steel, and water at minus 37.5%. Its attack, 205, is slightly above average. Its defense is 161, which is below average. And its HP is actually pretty good at 277 and does have a use for healing. It's a little annoying that we won't get the choice, and really I'm looking for a 15 HP Vaporeon, which might take a lot of trial and error. Its fast moves is Water Gun at 0.5 seconds, and with its decent attack, it is a actually useful water healer that can tank. It is not a super great tank, but it does enough damage where, honestly, with the 277 HP, yes, it doesn't heal as much as Blissey, but I do see healing capabilities from Vaporeon to heal out everybody else if need be. I'm not a fan of healing unless it's absolutely necessary. If all 4 of you are doing attack tank types, then that's fine. But otherwise, healing has a lot of issues, which I'll try to talk about later before the end of the year. It has a large list of charge moves, but we're not fighting Vaporeon, at least not yet. So most important is Water Gun with the 0.5 seconds. It's our only choice, but it's a good choice. For the water capability here, Vaporeon is just okay. Vaporeon is well behind Blastoise in power, and Blastoise is swimming along the ocean. Compared to our Kings, Kingler, and Teleon, Vaporeon just doesn't have the attack. But all in all, it is still has some uses with this HP. All right, for Jolteon, we have Ground is this weakness. It's 25 candy, just like that, for the 33%. It takes reduced damage from electric, flying, steel. Its attack, 232, is actually fairly decent. Defense is 182, which is slightly below average, and its stamina is very poor at 163 HP. It does have a 0.5 second fast move, Thunder Shock, but unfortunately, that's about the only real positive I have for it overall for its fast moves. Volt Switch is way too slow, and the charge moves are normal, but we're not fighting. For the capability here, Jolteon is just behind Raikou and Zapdos. And I'm going to be honest, it's really shocking that it's not higher on the list. G-Max Toxicity is going to be obviously our max electric damage right now. It just is way behind the list for it to be even that useful. Next is Flareon. Flareon is the last of the random Eeveelutions, 25 candy. It takes increased damage from ground, rock, and water. Flareon does take reduced damage from bug, fairy, fire, grass, ice, and steel. Flareon's attack at 246 is actually pretty strong. Defense 179 is slightly below average, and the stamina is equivalent to Jolteon's at 163. Its fast moves, though, are just 1 second, and unfortunately, if it did have a 0.5-second move, I think Flareon would be useful. You still might want to get a Flareon depending on how much you're farming for Eevees. As long as one of the statements is we're expecting some move changes for the next quarter, basically. And so with that, I'm hoping that some of these will get 0.5 seconds, which will make these a lot more interesting. Damage capability for fire. Going to be honest, Flareon surprised me. It's comparable to most of the D-Max, but it just fails to go past our G-Maxes for damage. Flareon is not as strong as Moltres. Moltres has the same issue with the 1-second attacks. The difference between Flareon and Moltres damage, though, is relatively small. And if Flareon gets a 0.5-second attack and Moltres gets a 0.5-second attack, I'm still going to choose Flareon because Moltres has a very long animation, which slows down your attack even more. Darmanitan is the best, but it's such a glass cannon that honestly, if we're going to only have D-Maxes available, Flareon might be my choice overall for tanking. The Darmanitan would be the only one. But obviously, G-Max, Charizard, Cinderace are better, but surprisingly not nearly as good as you would normally expect. So with that, Flareon would be useful, but it does need a 0.5-second move for it to be useful, so it's not there yet. Next, we have our lore evolutions, Leafeon and Glaceon, and I'm going to be honest, these are kind of the best ones. Dynamax Leafeon requires a Mossy Lure module and 25 candy. Its stats: weak to bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison at 60%. It is strong to electric, grass, ground, and water. Its stats: 216 attack, 219 defense are absolutely fantastic. 163 HP is below average, so it is not a healer. Unfortunately, it does not have a 0.5-second fast move. If it did, it would be incredibly useful. Still, Leafeon, though, with Razor Leaf, Quick Attack, and Bullet Seed. Personally, it doesn't really matter which of the two, Razor Leaf or Bullet Seed. Bullet Seed does require Elite TM. You're going to stick with Razor Leaf. If it had a 0.5 seconds, I would actually say it would be really useful. And at some point, I think they're going to make Eevees more useful, or the Eeveelutions more useful than they are, and maybe give us a bone here and start changing some of the fast moves in the next 3 to 6 months. For grass, Leafeon is pretty strong. It is behind Rillaboom in strength, but it does have some pretty towering defense. But right now, with its 1-second attack, leave Leafeon alone. There's a forest of higher attacking grass types with Sarina and Rillaboom, especially G-Maxes as well. Leafeon would be a very interesting tank attacker if it had that 0.5-second move, though. Dynamax Glaceon requires a Glacial Lore module. It's weak to fighting, fire, rock, and steel, and it's strong to ice at 37.5%. Stats: attack is 238, defense is 205, and his stamina is 163, which is low. The attack and defense, though, are well above average, especially attack. It's very high for an ice type. Its fast move. But right now for ice, Glaceon actually freezes out G-Max Lapras as the best ice attacker overall. And honestly, it would be absolutely shattering if it had that 0.5-second move. But Glaceon, I do suggest trainers to get. It is a very powerful ice attack, especially for D-Max. It is relatively low costing, and will have uses for some of the really, really cool D-Maxes and G-Maxes that I expect out, as ice will be able to attack most dragon types. And I do expect a lot of D-Maxes to release dragon type Pokemon more often than not, as I think that's kind of what they're leaning towards, or at least that's how it feels to me. And with that, Glaceon is at the top of its class for attack right now. And as I say, for most trainers, you can get Eevees fairly often, so you should have a decent amount of candy overall. Next are the buddy evolutions. They require a lot more work. First one is Espeon. Espeon is our psychic. It is takes increased damage from bug, dark, and ghost at 60%. Espeon takes reduced damage from fighting and psychic. Espeon has incredibly high attack at 261, defense slightly below average at 175, and HP stuck into 163s. In order to get the Eeveelution, you do need 25 candy, must be your buddy, walk 10 kilometers with your buddy, and you can only evolve this or evolve this during the day. Problem with Espeon, though, is its fast moves are slow. We do have a 1 and a 1.5 second, which is honestly lately I'm getting really upset at only having these 1 and 1.5 seconds for D-Maxes, really hurting our chances here. For Psychic, Espeon is really strong. Alakazam is just too mind-bending with its boon to be toppled. But Eeveelutions and Eevees tend to have a lot more candy. So if you have an Alakazam or an Abra at level 40 and an Espeon at level 50, the level 50 Espeon will output more damage than the Alakazam. Also, if you can only get to, if it's the same or not even close, actually, to be the same. Honestly, any Espeon with a max attack at level 3 will be stronger than any Alakazam at max attack level 2, as long as they're within like 10 to 15 levels of each other. So if you can't fully get out of Alakazam, depending on what your XL candies look like, Espeon would be useful. It's not that much of a drop. We're talking at most 12% difference, and that's because Blissey is so small. Overall, what we're talking about is 1 or 2 damage, really, at this point, at level 50, with and if it's weakness, we're talking maybe 4 or 5 damage per. Not a great amount. General. So if you love Espeon or love Eevee and looking for a psychic type, it can be used. If you do have your Abra at level 50, though, then Espeon is definitely not needed. Next, we have Dynamax Umbreon. Umbreon is our dark type, one of my favorites. Umbreon takes increased damage from bug, fairy, fighting at 60%. It is strong to dark and goes at 37.5 and it's really strong, 60.9% strong to psychic. Its attack stats are very poor at 126. This is not a dark attacker. Its defense, though, is really strong at 240 and its HP is at 216. It does have a problem, and I think you guys already know what it is. But in order to get this Eeveelution, you need to do the same thing. Must be a buddy, walk 10 kilometers with your buddy, and you can then Eeveelution? No, get the Eeveelution with 25 candy during the night. His fast moves are both the 1 second fast moves, and honestly, we need to get these improved. Honestly, I'm thinking during the Eevee week, I'm gonna try to put in how to improve the Eeveelutions. Number 1 is get at least one of them with the 0.5 seconds. Maybe 2 is that we just really need to get them out of the single elements, which is, I know, blasphemy. It'd be nice if they still had the normal type, just so that they could have the fighting as well. That'd make them unique as tanks. But in general, I'm just rambling on for my disappointment, as I love Eeveelutions. I really would love to use them in DMAX, but the way that they're making them, at least for the fast moves right now, is making it really, really tough to do so. For Dark, it's a joke for its attack. It is a very defensive mind Dark, which I would actually love, but right now Umbreon is just too weak. And even as a tank, I'm not really liking to use it as much. It's the same issue I have with Blissey. Its attack is just too low. Yes, 90% of your damage, 85 to 90% damage is during transformation, but fighting during the tanking part or non-transformed part is very important. You're literally giving up half that damage just to be able to tank slightly better than maybe what a Grimmsnarl, which is actually more than half damage. So it's just too weak to be of use. Finally, we have Dynamax Sylveon, our fairy type. This is the hardest evolution. It requires 25 candy, and you need to earn 70 hearts with your buddy. I'm wondering if we're going to be given the ability to evolve quickly like we did during 3-hour event that we've had, where it was drastically lower to, I think, like either 7 or 10 hearts. I don't even remember. It might have been 3 hearts. If that's the case, then evolving Sylveon would be very useful and needed. With as a fairy type, it does have a 60% resistance to poison and steel. It's 37.5% resistance to bug, dark, and fighting, and 60.9% resistance to dragon, which is actually really, really nice. Yes, Zacian is a little bit better. It's Sylveon has the best overall stats of all the evolutions: 203 attack, 205 defense, 216. Its problem is that its only stab attack or same type ability bonus is a 1.5 seconds, and its quick attack is 1 second. So it's just not useful as a tank at all. As a fairy, Sylveon is close to Hatterene and Gardevoir in damage, so I'm very surprised at how well Sylveon stacks, but it's still behind overall. And honestly, it's really frustrating that the Eeveelutions are being released now. For the usefulness, we need move changes in order for them to start shining. So what's the overall battle plan for Dynamax Eevee? It's going to be a 2-star battle costing 400 MP, but I think they're going to make it at least usable and doable during the weekend with some special Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday shenanigans where we'll really, in the scheme of things, if we've got double the amount, it kind of costs like 200 MP during the weekend if you think about it, which is fine. It would have been really nice to just hunt EVs for Dynamax on the cheap, but I think that's just the only real time we'll be incentivized to hunt for Dynamax EV. EVs can attack with normal and ground. Honestly, the normal is what we're going to be worried about. Zamazenta does really well against normal attacks and can take the ground damage as well. It's not really great at ground, but it can take it. It's not going to, as long as you're above level 25 for Zamazenta and you do have a shield, it will take it fine. Eevee's just way too weak to really damage Zamazenta. And best for the 2 ground tank is going to be Butterfree and Articuno if you really want to get fancy, as Butterfree and Articuno really will help you there. But honestly, a Zamazenta and attacking with your G-Max Machamp or your best fighting type, and at worst you have to go through 2 transformations in order to beat Eevee. So is Dynamax Eevee worth it for you? And this kind of hurts. When I say overall, its Eeveelutions are not the greatest for attacking, but depending on your lineup, it still might be useful to you. There is one exception, Glaceon. Glaceon is the best ice attacker, and with that, I highly suggest all trainers getting a Glaceon. Glaceon will potentially be used. There are better ice attackers. They may come out at some point. Excalibur just to me feels like it's coming, but I don't have any proof, and that's just my gut feeling. But Glaceon is the #1 attacker right now in the fold. Yes, there will be others potentially in the future, but honestly, Eevees and Eevee candies are relatively easy to get, and you can walk Eevees to get them if you need to. So I highly suggest you get a Glaceon. All the others, though, from an attacking standpoint, are outclassed by at least one, if not multiple, Pokemon. For tanking, the ones with 0.5-second attacks are not super useful right now, and the ones that would have been useful are slow attackers. And I'm going to kind of put these right now. It's a shame that Umbreon, Sylveon, Leafeon, Glaceon do not have those 0.5-second attack moves. But with each season, movesets can change, or they can add a moveset. Like we've already seen Metagross actually get both a bug and a ghost type, and they both were 0.5 seconds, making Metagross even that much more useful. So there is hope within at least my Eevee loving heart that there will be some update for some of these Eeveelutions where they will be very useful for DMAX. So I am going to hunt pretty hard for Eevees. Partially that's because I'm a huge fanboy of Eevee. And honestly, if you're a fanboy or girl of Eevees, you know, this is going to be your weekend. You're going to farm as hard as you can for it. But I would have tried to avoid max particling as much as possible just because it is 400 instead of 250. And that just really hurts me because I think I would have spent a decent amount of max particle packs hunting Eevees over and over again. But I will not do so at 400. I would have done it at 250 if they had it as 1-star. Some, though, can be used for healing, but not as a true main healer, other than maybe Vaporeon. It has enough HP where, honestly, with its high attack capability on it as well, I'm not going to say it's like a pure healer like Blissey, but it can heal pretty effectively. And if you do 2 heals and attack, that attack is going to be 3 times stronger, assuming no resistances, than Blissey. All right, with that, for the Urshifu hunts, what to look for November 24th. We have Sableye and Inkay for single strike, and Squirtle, Krabby, Sobble, and Wailmer for rapid strike. And for December 1st, Inkay is here now. We are expecting the same, but I don't have any of the fights for December right now, where I'm doing this a little earlier than normal, so I can't look and see what Niantic and Scopely are planning for December 1st. There might be some events going on that I don't know of as of right now, or at least as of this taping. I wouldn't be surprised by the time I do the rest of this that they will start some of those announcements. So I do apologize. But with that, this has been my Super Eevee DMAX special. I hope you guys enjoy. If you did, please like and subscribe. That really helps the channel. You can also join my community. If you do, I'll put your name at the end of the video. And on top of that, you will be a friend on my friends list. And if I will invite you to all of our GMAXs. And on top of that, I will be willing to help out on some as well if I have the time and or passes for it. But you can also join me on Twitch. You can also see my Patreon. If you join Patreon and become a paying member, I'll also give you access to some of my slides and other files as well. But with that, it has been a pretty long video. It's almost 30 minutes. I'm going to let you guys get out of class. I don't like having class longer than 20 minutes, and I'm way past that, but there's so much to go through. And as always, I'll try to do better next time. Bye, everyone.